Louise Anderson.
One of the main concerns with my work is how the audience perceives it. I don't want the audience to see textiles as a just flat medium. I want them to see the detail, the structure, that it's not just, it's not a carpet, it's not a cushion, it's not a blanket, but it's a piece of art, and it is within a space, and it's changing the space that it's hanging within. But standing away, the piece of textiles looks completely different as a whole, but coming close you can see finer detail, threads casting shadow behind the piece of work, stitching, just fine details. This piece of work is hand woven and hand dyed in fine linen with cotton yarn. So I work with natural materials, often with the natural colour of the material I'm using, such as the linen, and then the dyed black to create this deep shade going through the cloth. The grid formations within the work has actually come from earlier drawings that I've done of using ink and bleach and working with grids and then cutting up the work and moving it around to create various patterns like this. These pieces, the way they've been sewn together, they've been woven one way, cut into squares and then switched to create this sort of varying grid formation. The process of ripping up and restitching my work together is important to me because although in some ways the grids, for example, come into the notion of perfection, but by ripping these up and restitching them together brings an imperfection with raw edges and tiny stitches, and it makes this perfect two-dimensional piece of weaving become more three-dimensional and brings in the idea of imperfection within the cloth. I want to project to the viewer that my pieces are handmade and that they are tactile and have surface quality, and being made by myself there will be imperfections, and it's seeing that these imperfections are in fact beautiful. Through cutting and restitching the weaving, I'm changing the physical relationship of the object, but also I think the viewer that's viewing it. So rather than it being a tablecloth or a piece of textile in a home, it's actually being hung within a space, giving it quite a different feeling, because rather than wearing a textile, you're viewing it, so you're experiencing it through other senses rather than just touch. I hope to project through my textiles and them being hung is really an experience for the viewer, is the way they perceive it, how it makes them feel when they stand within the space, the way they relate to it. So whether they look at it and go, oh, those look like mistakes, or they look at little imperfections in tiny pieces of linen yarn and think that's really beautiful. And also, although there's grids and things happening, I want to create almost a calm, contemplative feeling when you stand and you get absorbed in the work when you look at it, and in the details, focusing in and out, and the way you see the whole piece.